Guys, this season just keeps on giving and giving. I know that a lot of people are very split on how they feel about this, and people are like, this is the worst season ever because there's not genuine love and people you can root for. But personally, I'm entertained. Are you not entertained? Because I get it, some people really do want like to see happy people and to root for their happiness. But do you really need other people's happiness to make you feel happy? Like, I personally don't. I'm fine with bad vibes. I'm fine with witnessing whatever the heck is going on. So I've been covering this whole season. If you want, you can look back at my previous videos, but I basically talk standout moments and I don't necessarily summarize what's going on, but I try to get to like every single moment that needs to be hit on. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Let's get into exactly what the heck has happened. So we have Uche talking to Milton first, and we have been waiting for this because they left off on the cliffhanger of Uche angrily kind of grabbing Milton and being like, we need to talk. And it's like, why do we need to talk? Like, your girl is gone, the girl that's with me is with me. Like, I don't feel like we owe each other conversation at all. So Uche says, the last things I texted Lydia was that she's a great girl, and basically I lied. Like, she's a weirdo. She stalked me, and I just need you to know that. And it's weird because it's like, okay, when you end up on bad terms with somebody, sometimes, yeah, you do say things that you don't really mean because you just want it to be like fake cool, because you're like, I'd rather be fake cool than like genuinely dramatic. But it's weird because he's bringing all of this up in like the heat of these moments when it doesn't need to be brought up at all. Like, what does Uche gain out of this besides the feeling of just like kind of showboating and like winning? What the heck is this? Like, I just don't understand Uche's intent with the things that he says that are genuinely come from a place of like judgment. Also, we don't like Uche over here. I don't view him as somebody's level-headed at all. I think he's the villain of the season. I know that he's been revealing some things over Instagram that make it seem like it's a little bit more like this drama has been concocted from the Love is Blind like storyline producers or whatever. But personally, going off the actions that we see, the actions that they're showing us, I just don't like him. I think he's gross. I have a bunch of videos dissecting Lydia, Uche, and Aaliyah. Well, I have one specific video dedicated to it because I felt like I needed to clarify my feelings on it, because at one point said like, oh, Uche was kind of right because like Aaliyah is toxic and like left him. But we need to give Aaliyah her props. Like, if you can't take a situation and you genuinely are drained by it, you need to go. I get that. And at first I thought it was kind of like immature for her to leave, but if we were in that situation, like, imagine. Anyway. So, back to what is going on. Milton, was it Milton who said, can I have a con with my friend? Can I get 5 minutes? It's interesting because Lydia doesn't let him stay, and I think, like, is it rightful for her to be like, no, Milton, we're going. Like, I don't even want to entertain this clown. He's like, he wants to paint me in a bad light. Like, please understand that he does not like me. He's just gonna smear me, you know, like, but, I was thinking, like, is it rightful? Let me know also. If you have a single opinion on what the heck is happening, please comment and let me know. Because this show was meant for, like, conversation. It's meant for us to be entertained, but it's also meant, I don't think it's meant to spark conversation, but it does spark conversation. So, as Uche comes back to the group and he's talking, Stacy is mean, dude. Stacy and Izzy were mean to Johnny. I personally think that Johnny maybe is a little sketchy or whatever, because some of her things that she says, like, come out of, like, where does that come from? But I don't like the way that Stacy and Izzy be handling things, because they just are malicious about it, you know? Like Stacy saying, is your face okay, Johnny? What did that, is Johnny supposed to say that? Yeah, no. Like, it's just rude. So then Uche goes off, whatever, all the women are coming for him, and he singles out Miriam for some reason. And I just want to say, as an African woman, I don't like that he singled out Miriam and called her bitter, because that just, to me, shows how you feel about women who just are speaking up when other women are speaking up as well. And I get it, it's kind of obnoxious for like all these women to be coming at you like, yeah, you're a loser, that's not what happened, Uche, that's not what happened. Like, and then I get it's obnoxious, but I mean, like, these women are just like drunk. Like, not that these women are just drunk. Everybody's drunk. Izzy's drunk off his, like, he's drunk. But the way that he singled out Miriam made me very hot, because it just, like, as a black woman, to see those things, it just, but it also, you know what? I will say it was disrespectful and gross, but it was kind of funny after he was like, what do you do? Do you own a skincare company? Do you live in Saudi Arabia or Houston? Like, let me know. Because we were all thinking, like, what do you do? And I'm not saying that it was funny the way that he disrespected her, but it was funny because we were all thinking, what do you do? Like, you're kind of sketchy too. Everybody's sketchy, but like, Miriam's like very interesting. But I don't like that he went for her. I really don't. Anyway, and then Miriam being like, listen, I'm not Lydia or Aaliyah. I will not cry for you. I will sit here and tell you what a loser you are. But then it's also like, could you also clarify what you do? Like, please. Lydia say, okay, so everybody's like, not everybody, but Johnny basically is like, listen, Uche was convincing. And I will give that to Uche. He's not dumb. You know what I mean? He's not a dumb villain. He's a concise, articulate villain, but a villain nonetheless. And she's like, so, like, did you stalk him? Like, what is he saying about this? Is it true? Because we're all wanting to know, how does Lydia feel about voicing these things? And she kind of talks about it, and she's like, I know who I am. And that, it kind of sucks in relation to Uche's little argument and claims, because it's like, okay, the claims that he's giving, you can't just be like, I know who I am. And I don't think she only said that, but that's what stood out to me, is like, I know who I am. Interesting. So then we go back to Uche and Milton talking, and Milton at 24, okay. Before I say what I'm about to say, these are the notes that I had written down at the time, where I valued what he was saying here and his perspective here. But cut to next episode, I don't necessarily value this perspective. So Milton, I thought he was really mature in saying, you know what? Your perception is your reality. I'm on my path, you're on your path. Whatever Lydia did, I get it. Like, I know her. Blah, blah, blah. Like, we get it. You don't like her, like, you have beef, whatever. That's your thing, and this is my thing. At first, I thought that was really honorable, because I thought it was very mature, just to be like, listen, who the hell, like, cares, you know? But I also do think it's very conflicting, because later on, it's like a problematic, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a problematic view. But in this moment, when he was talking to somebody who was trying to get a rise, and was talking to somebody who, like, is like, listen, Milton should get out of there, I feel like he was being mature and being like, this is my future marriage, this is not yours. Whatever the heck has happened in the past is your thing. I appreciate that. Okay, I thought he was great. So Stacy and Izzy make a mountain out of a molehill with Johnny, because they don't need to, like, stand up for Chris in this way. And we get it. We also feel that Johnny's a little sketchy. I don't know if everybody does. There are some people who think that, like, Johnny's, like, being completely unrightfully, like, attacked. I think she's being unrightfully attacked, but also, like, some of the claims and the experiences people have with her, I feel like it come from a real place, but it's also being widely exaggerated, and it's disgusting. Also, Stacy revealed her whenever she was like, this is not a moment for understanding, whoever the heck she was talking to. And I feel like when you admit that you're not open to understanding somebody you have conflict with, then you just are choosing to live in that conflict, and then you are choosing to, like, be mean about it. You are not choosing to seek perspective from somebody else, because you simply are like, listen, I don't like her, she's gonna know that I don't like her, we're gonna be on separate paths. And I just feel like, at however old Stacy is, that's just like, you're just not too old, because you can feel ways for people the way that you want to feel at whatever age, but I just kind of feel like it's gross to be dedicated to hating on somebody, you know? Anyways, so I also get that Izzy is drunk. I get that these people are just drunk. Okay, I get that. When you're drunk, you speak from, like, the depths of your soul, and you're, like, not scared. And you're like, you know what, I'm also drunk, so I'm just gonna, like, say these things. But he's gross, saying it turned me on to see you laying into her. Also, he didn't say laying into her, he said railing into her. Stop it. Use another word. Railing is sexual. Don't, like, gross as hell. And then Stacy from them like mutually bullying a girl, talking about them, goes into like making mountains out of other molehills, being like, I just feel like you don't do enough for me. Of course, because she's spoiled. In my opinion, Stacy is spoiled. She just, I feel like she wants to complain about things that she hasn't made known before, as if like she's said them a million times, but they come out of nowhere. And I just feel like we've all been there. Like if you've been a partner of somebody when you're younger, in your teen years, you've had this phase. But this is a phase to be like, I'm gonna complain about this and I need you to know. And like they come from real feelings of like not feeling like you're taken care of or whatever. But the way that she's not taken care of is like, I don't know, it just feels unnecessary. It feels excessive. So yeah, Stacy to me is spoiled and like kind of dedicated to being unhappy. Like she always has to have a problem with something. And that's just why I don't necessarily like people who grew up with money. Not that I don't like people who grew up with money. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I don't like when people who grew up like very comfortable, very stable, show their like character in conflict, because they like always want to be correct and they never want to come from a place of like genuine understand, like, you know, like it's always like their perspective and their needs and their wants, as opposed to like, let me take in consideration like everything going on. Like when Izzy is saying, I just don't feel like I'm enough for you, Stacy is saying, well, be enough for me, and not just validating him. And she did in the last episode, but like initially she's like, well, yeah, I'm not getting what I want. So, and that just to me is not the way that a healthy relationship should function. I think it's the way that young relationship functions. Anyway, so we're saying that Milton says, my perception is our relationship and bond. And I feel like that could lead you open to like you ignoring red flags and ignoring certain things that need to be paid attention to, because yeah, sure, your perception is your relationship and your bond, but other people's reality is like them taking note of like the person you're in a relationship with. Like that you should kind of be informed by that a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like there's some moments where that perspective is good and it's great to be logical, but I'm also a very emotional person and we all just are going off of emotions. You know, emotions inform our thoughts inform like our actions and the way that our reality is formed. So like, take care of your emotions. Go to therapy. So Izzy, of course Izzy doesn't feel affirmed and acknowledged by Stacy. Stacy barely affirms and acknowledges her own feelings because she doesn't want to get deep for the most part. You know, she doesn't want to get deep into her feelings. She's not very in tune. So how in the world could she affirm his feelings when she doesn't really know her own? You know, so she's gonna have trouble, I feel like, with talking to Izzy and like making him feel needed and like enough, because she's always gonna have these like unfulfillable wants, you know. Okay, I need to get some water, but I cannot get up because I'm not editing this video. I need to upload it today. So, but I will say that I don't like to say this, but it is kind of relatable when she was like, when they were talking after the little exercise class, which also, what the heck, this exercise class that she just teaches, what? And then they visit each other and they're talking and they work it out, and then he gives her little gifts, and she's like, I can't believe I did this, or I can't believe you did this, and now I feel really bad. It's kind of like when you get into an argument with your, I was gonna say spouse, but not everybody's married. When you get into an argument with your partner and then they like do the things that you thought that you like complained about, or they do the things that you wanted, and you're like, ooh, because it kind of feels like, oh, I'm being rewarded for my bad behavior. Not that your real feelings are bad behavior, but it's kind of like, oh, I could have brought this up in a different way, and now he's like taking note. Oh my god, I did not expect, you know, I wouldn't have gone as hard if I knew that he would have listened to me, you know. I don't know. So Izzy's mom, the meeting with the mom was typical, whatever. I don't really want to hit on that too much, but it was just basically like, listen, marriage is real, like, he's my baby, he's 30 something. Ugh, I just don't like when parents infantilize their grown children. But I get it, it's also like a maternal bond is forever, but it's like, Let them grow and have their own children. So when you walk into when we saw Lydia and Milton walk into the home, immediately you just see all the warmth is just sucked. From when you step outside to inside, the warmth is just sucked right from there. Walking into that cold military family, like, ooh, I would not be comfortable. Also, it kind of grossed me out when we heard what's her name saying, like, do you have an accent? Or do I hear an accent? Yeah, you hear an accent. Are your ears working? Because I don't know, I just don't really like the way that Milton has been pointing out, like, oh, Lydia says things wrong because of her accent. Lydia's bilingual and well accomplished. And somebody said this in another podcast. I think it was one of the podcast that like Lauren from Love is Blind, or the first season, hosts with her co-host. I think he was saying, like, she speaks 2 languages, you speak 1. Like, don't even critique her English, because like she speaks a whole other language. That's such an accomplishment. And it is. I don't like when people critique other people who are bilingual, or like you have an accent. Yeah, duh. Like, just ask where I'm from. Like, you don't have to come out. Yeah, I don't know why that rubs me any type of way. I only speak English. So I don't know. I think also because I grew up overseas, and I don't like the way that people who are from other places in America are like commented on, because it sometimes feels like it's from a place of not genuine curiosity. It comes from a place of judgment. Anyway, so Milton's family grilling Milton, and then Milton's just chill demeanor sitting on a table on the counter being like, yo, chill, grossed me out, because it was like such young people behavior. And I also don't want to be lumped into the other young people. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, Milton's 24, of course his 24-year-old self is behaving like this. I'm a 24-year-old, like, it upsets me. Well, it doesn't upset me, it just bothers me a little bit, because it's not all of us be acting the way that other 24-year-olds act. So I don't know, you know. And then also Milton is like highly accomplished for his age, so I just feel like the stereotypes of like, oh, he's 24, of course he acts like that. I mean, it's valid sometimes, but I don't know. But in this moment, it is very valid, because he's just like chilling. The sister's literally asking, like, so what's going on with the wedding? And he's like, chill. He should have told her to chill whenever she said it's phony. That's when he should have said chill. I'm like, oh my god. I just feel like no matter what, when you're in-laws with somebody, you have to be warm. Like, even if it's fake warmth, you have to be warm to the person coming into your family, because that will forever inform the dynamic about you two. But I also get it's authentic for her to be like, it's phony. Like, it's authentic for them to be cold. It's authentic for them to like not be in touch with their emotions, because that's just the way they are. But it's kind of like, no, you're making it weird. I'll get more into the emotion thing later when I'm commenting on the last scene from the episode. It just rubbed me the wrong way. What the heck is the point? Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Before I go to what the heck is the point, we see them getting their marriage license. It's $74. In Illinois, when I got married, 2022, which is I think when this was happening, it was like, I think it was $32 or less. It was 20 to 30 something dollars, I think. It is astounding that it costs, at least in Illinois, less than $100 to less than $50 to be legally tied to somebody forever. You know, because they always say you buy items with longevity, you buy items that last forever, and it's expensive. You know what I mean? But like when you just buy something that like legally binds you to somebody, it's like under $50. Not saying it should be not affordable, because like everybody deserves to get married no matter how much money you have, but it's also kind of crazy to think like how cheap it is to just be tied to somebody legally. It's crazy. And all they do is ask you, like, are you related? Nope. Answer these like very basic questions. Oh, you can be married. That's your marriage license. It's crazy, dude. No, what is the point of Nick and Vanessa coming to the fittings and giving any sort of commentary? Also, hold on a second, let me check. Sorry, I just had to make sure I was still recording, because my first video cut out right as I was like, not right as I was ending, it was like right in the middle. So I just literally talked to myself for like 20 more minutes, which sucked. Anyway, so we see Izzy plans a date And we're kind of like, okay, cool, Izzy, you're planning a date, you're doing what you do, cool. Skip that, it's kind of boring to me. Milton has a talk with his sister, and we're like, ooh, because Milton was saying like it was weird when Lydia was brought, and Lydia's or his sister is like, what do you mean weird? But then also she confirms like, yeah, or Milton's like, yeah, they talk about their emotions, dude. Like they're more of an emotional household, and we're not. And then she's like, yeah, we don't do emotions. Personally, I feel like it's weird if your whole entire family just isn't emotional. I'm not saying that it's bad, like people function the way that they function and it's not off to do what the heck you do, but when it comes to marriage, when it comes to family dynamics and like in pulling somebody into your family, I personally think it's like so much better to be in touch with your emotions and to be able to not be so logical and so like, oh, your perception is your reality, because it just allows for warmth and it allows for like goodness to be brought in. And then also it informed me of later in the episodes of Milton not being able to be like expressive of his emotions. Well, we'll get into the last talk that Lydia and Milton have, because this conversation informed the way that I feel about that conversation. So go on to Izzy and Stacy have tension because Izzy admits he has bad credit. And we're like, ooh, come on, Izzy, you know that Stacy don't play about her money. Like, I feel like he kind of did leave that out because he was scared to lose her, because he brought up with Johnny like very quickly, like before they broke up. So I kind of feel like he was kind of lying by omission. But I see why he did it, because Stacy, like, you know that Stacy was not gonna have him if he didn't bring it up. Yeah, you knew that Stacy didn't play about her finances. She don't play about her finances. So like having bad credit probably would have been a deal breaker for her, to be honest. But like maybe it's smart that he didn't bring that up. I don't know. But I also think it like you owe somebody that truth. Lydia and Milton sitting down to have dinner. I don't know how this gets brought up, but Lydia's like kind of saying like, could you please clean up after yourself? Basically, like I feel like it's a genuine critique, because there was that one scene at the honeymoon where Lydia's like, can you pick up your towels? And out of nowhere, we just see that Milton just like throws the towel on the floor. That to me was so disgusting, such gross behavior, because it just is actively just, I'm just not gonna do what you want me to do. So like Lydia's talking about that, and I feel like it's from a valid place. I can see from Milton's perspective, it's like, why are we talking about this? But it's also kind of like, just listen, like you're just out to dinner or whatever. And then they get into talks about the situation, which I think is rightful for them to talk about the situation. Whenever something messed up happens to me, I'm talking about with my husband like a decent amount of times. I'm not bringing it up once and it's done. Like, especially I feel like with women, we don't just bring it up and it's done. Like, so then Milton says you don't control your emotions. In this situation, I'm very much team Lydia, because like, how the heck am I going to control my emotions when they're just coming up to the surface? So the way that they're talking about the situation with Uche, of course, and Milton isn't like saying at least he's letting us know that he's saying that like he doesn't feel like he's coming from a judgmental place, because if he was judgmental, he would have left. I think that he's getting a wrong read on that, because like you can still be judgmental slightly and like have a slight negative opinion without leaving, you know? Like we're judgmental about so many things subconsciously, you know? But the fact that he was like, you don't control your emotions, how the heck was, if somebody is coming for me and they are being so rude to me and trying to get you to be like turned against me, how the heck am I supposed to just be like, oh, let me assess the situation, this is what's happening, okay, cool, let me just take myself out peacefully and just not think about it? How was that gonna happen? I, as an emotional person, like, there's been so many things that I just cannot control in relation to my emotions. I would love to, it's the dream to not be sensitive, but especially in relation to Lydia, her strength, and Milton says this in the preview, her strength is also her weakness. Her strength is, I think, being able to like be very honest and be very real. And he's coming from a place of like, these are just my emotions. Also, reactions are not random. So when you can speak on them and act on them, you're being honest to yourself. If she controlled them, she's not being authentic, and she's not being real, and she's being fake. And I just feel like people who, I was gonna say people who are from military backgrounds, but like people who were not raised to be in touch with their emotions have a lot to work through. They do. And it's just really sad that Milton was like, listen, I'm not judging you. I don't want you to feel bad. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. Props to him for, like, at least saying, like, I know this is going to probably hurt your feelings. But it also is really not fair that he said, like, you need to control your emotions, but you don't control your emotions. A lot of people are not able to control their emotions in the heat of the moment. Especially that was a heated, hurtful, like, time. So because you need to like talk through your emotions. And then also I've had those conversations with my husband where we've been like out to dinner, out to a place, and he's like, can you just like, we're having a good time. And I'm like, no, we're having a conversation. That verbatim is what has happened with me and my husband. Lydia's been like talking through this one thing. She's being respectful about it. She's not, like bringing this up just to bring it up out of nowhere. He's like kind of feeding into it. And then he's like, can we not argue? Okay, cool. The weather's great, isn't it? Like, what? I don't know. I just feel like get into therapy and please be more emotionally in tune with yourself, because that's like the way that a good marriage grows. And if you aren't emotionally in tune, you are kind of like more emotionless, like you need to be somebody else who's emotionless as well. Like there are some great marriages that work where like people avoid things and you're with an avoidant person and your relationship lasts years and years, you know what I mean? But yeah, I am once again asking men, please go to therapy. Oh my god, the world would be such a great place if everybody could just invest in some therapy. It's not like available to everybody, but I feel like for these people, if Milton is making over 100,000 right now, go to therapy, Milton. Go to therapy. Uche, go to therapy. He's making decent. He can go to therapy. Yeah, that's all I have for this season. Not this season. That's all I have for these episodes. Please let me know if you have any thoughts or feelings. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night.